All right. What's up, guys? Average Gamer signing on back with another video. We are here to talk about Reg H. The rule set just dropped. Reg H, Pokemon VGC. We're here to talk about. Before we do, be sure to like and subscribe. We just hit 300 subs. Thank you guys for the support as always. Thank you for coming on along this journey with me, and hopefully some more of you will come along in this video. Anyway, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet rank battle. Regulation H rule set has been officially revealed per Cerebi on X. Doesn't allow the use of any legendary or paradox Pokemon. This is apparently going to be the rule set for After Worlds. It seems as though the Worlds rule set will still be Reg G, which makes sense. I think they learned their lesson from last year. But After Worlds, we have this format. And I gotta say, man, I am intrigued. Now, apparently this format's right after Worlds, so it'll be September 1st, I believe, is when the format starts. And it says here, Regulation G will run again at the start of 2025. So essentially we have this format, this new format, Regulation H, for the rest of the year, after Worlds. And Worlds is coming up in like 2 weeks, so. Every Pokemon that is a legendary, restricted or otherwise, is banned. Going through the list here, you see me scrolling. Lando banned. Genies entirely are banned. Greninja, what the? Oh, Battle Bond. Okay, yeah, you need to ban that. Zacian, Zamazenta banned. He's gone. He's gone. Get out. I'm sick of you. Get out. Calyrex is gone. Thank God. Fluttermane. Hands gone. Treasure Ruin gone. Miraidon gone. Y'all get the point. Ogerpon gone. Now, this is very good, right? Typically, Pokemon typically goes in like 3-year cycles, at least in recent memory. And after this Worlds, we will be in our final year. And I gotta be honest, I'm getting very tired of restricted Pokemon. I don't hate it as much as other people do, but I'm starting to feel the boredom. I think Pokemon kind of said, look, we're entering our final year. Let's see if we make a format that gets the most people excited. And let's be honest, casuals don't really like legendaries. Do I dislike legendaries? Not particularly. Someone who consumes a lot of Pokemon VGC, I've kind of gotten used to them. They are like more annoying to me than anything. And really only a couple of them are. Like, Urshifu's annoying, the Calyrexes are annoying. But after that, I'm kind of just like whatever on the rest of them. But yeah, casuals don't like really any legendaries. And this is for 2 reasons. One of which is kind of and one of which actually makes a lot of sense. The one that makes sense is, like, it's a money investment. Before the Indigo Disc release, with like Pokemon Home dropped, you had like the Genies, Urshifu, Cresselia, Heatran, Pokemon like that. Yeah, you needed prior games like Sword and Shield, Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl to actually get these Pokemon, which is like at minimum a $60 investment. And if we're talking about something like Urshifu, this dumb freaking Pokemon, it's a $90 investment. So there was like a blatant pay to win element. Oh my God, I can't speak. There was a blatant pay to win element when it comes to these legendaries. And then when it comes to restricted Pokemon, more times than not, these are box legendaries. You can only get 1 per save. And it's just really hard to get them if you don't have prior titles. Now, with Indigo Disc release, obviously you were able to get Groudon, Kyogre, all those Pokemon. But you can only get 1 of them. And so constantly having to reset and redo your EVs is definitely annoying. So there is a part of formats where legendaries are involved that is pay to win. Like, I think that's pretty notable and like a very big problem if we're talking about casuals players. Obviously competitive players are going to do what they need to. The second reason, what's the word? Oh, centralization. Yeah, that's the thing. Now, granted, someone who consumes a lot of Pokemon like myself, even in a non-legendary having format, the format will get centralized. So centralization will not be something that Regulation H lacks. Instead of Urshifu's being around and like Calyrex's being around, you're going to see Murkrow, Dondozo, and Blood Moon everywhere, right? So the format will still get centralized, but what I think people who make that argument, what I think they're trying to say is, one, it doesn't get centralized as quickly, because when Pokemon Home dropped, Tornadus, Urshifu instantly, like, broke the game. Well, okay, maybe not broke the game, but they were instantly viewed as, like, two of the best Pokemon. In this format, there's going to be a lot of things, which leads to point number 2, what these people try to say. Generally, non-legendary having formats, and definitely in restricted formats, there are more Pokemon, on average, in my opinion, that are, like, viable. In restricted formats, I would argue, like, it's anywhere from, like, 15 on the low end to 20 on the high end, in terms of, like, quote-unquote viable mons. And when I say viable, I mean, like, Pokemon that you can use without having, like, an uphill battle most of the time. So you'll have, like, the top 5 restricted mons, like your Calorexes, both kinds of Calorexes, Miraidon, Kyogre, and, like, Zamazenta or Terapagos or something like that. I think those are, like, the top 6 restrictors right now. Top 5 to 6. And then you have, like, the 10 to 15 Pokemon that, like, support that restricted the best. Your Incineroars, your Rillabooms, your Pelipper's, your Whim or Torn, depending on your Prankstermon, your Urshifus, your Raging Bolts, things like that, right? And so, you're really only getting, like, kind of 20 Pokemon at max, maybe 25. But in non-legendary formats, I would easily argue you're, like, getting past 30 easily. And this is because you don't actually have to worry about, like, supporting your restricted. Because in one restricted format, that's, like, the biggest thing. Making sure you don't lose your restricted. And making sure they can actually do what they need to. But in a format where the power level is so much lower, there are so many more archetypes that can shine. And because this is now essentially the very first regulation, plus the Indigo Disc, and I guess Kitakami, or whatever that... Oh, the Teal Mask. That's what that DLC was called. Anyway, essentially everything that was good in that format, which in that format there was, like, easily 30 Pokemon that were viable. And then you add on the Pokemon from the DLCs, yeah, I think you're easily looking at a format that can have 30, 40 viable Pokemon in it. A lot of archetypes will be coming back that we haven't seen. Like, things like Sunroom, we haven't really seen, because why use Torkoal when you have Koraidon right there? Psy-Spam will be coming back, we haven't really seen that. Dondozo will be absolutely stupid. Blood Moon will be absolutely stupid. Things that got, like, some play, but they were missing their best friend, kind of got some extra stuff during the DLC. Something like Tyranitar now has Excadrill to combo with, you know, Garchomp, Lycanroc, and Houndstone. Mouseape will be back. What was also good? Single Pokemon like Meowscarada and Hydreigon will be back. I mentioned Murkrow, I think. Talonflame will have usage as well. Garganacl will probably have usage. Something like Baxcalibur will be used because it now has a Snow Setter and a Alolan Ninetales. Just a lot of good stuff. So I think this format is very exciting. I think it has the potential to bring casuals into the game. Because we're kind of all, I don't want to say this like in a conceited way, but like we're on like a more level playing field. With no legendaries. Because legendaries are hard to get, admittedly. And a lot of people don't have access to them. I'm already thinking about bringing back my Sylveon team. That was the first team I made in Reg H. They actually already have it on Showdown if you wish to play it. And I think for me, personally, the reason why I like non-legendary formats is it allows far more Pokemon to get like some shine. Some. Because like in restricted formats, for example, there is like no reason to use an Intimidate Mon other than Incineroar. There's really no reason to. Unless you're like, even something like Hitmontop is not really necessary because Incineroar exists. But in a format like this, don't get me wrong, Incineroar will be good. But why'd I do that? Let's just like type Intimidate here for a second. Incineroar will still be good, don't get me wrong, but like, I actually think Incineroar won't be like the #1 used Pokemon in the format. Like, I don't even think it'd be the best Intimidator in the format. Because the thing about Incineroar is that in restricted formats that are played with legendaries in them, having a defensive intimidator that can also cycle its intimidates very well is very valuable. But in a format where the power level is down, I would actually argue that offensive intimidators are actually better. I think both Arcanines have the potential to be better than Incineroar, especially Hisuian Arcanine. Going down the list, you have something like Gyarados, I think, will have usage. Hitmontop will have usage. Incineroar will have usage. Krookodile will have usage. Salamence will probably be returning. The Tauroses will probably be returning. We may even get a cool Weirdeer team. So I actually think there's competition now for Incineroar, and I kind of like that meta game development, like who's gonna be the best Intimidator. Incineroar actually has competition in a format like this. Okay, my bad, y'all. My mic cut out. Anyway, as I was saying, another archetype I was kind of thinking, well, not archetype, some more Pokemon I think will be cool. The Hisuian. Talk about Hisuian Arcanine. He had a lot of play when Pokemon Home first came out. He was just a very good attacker. You saw like Arcanine, Hisui, and Rillaboom, for example. You also saw a couple of Hisuian Lilligants, not a lot. Same thing with Hisuian Goodra. He was there, but not a lot. But in this format, I think Hisuian Goodra will be very good. Honestly, I think it'd be very good as even against something like Blood Moon, resisting the normal moves, and with 150, you're probably going to be taking, you know, Earth powers decently well. We'll have to see the calcs. Hisuian Lilligant, I don't, honestly, with regular Lilligant, Sunroom, maybe not a ton of Hisuian Lilligant, but on faster Sun teams, perhaps. But I'm interested in the starters. Typhlosion Hisui didn't get like any play, primarily because Chi-Yu exists. But with Chi-Yu gone, this is kind of fulfills the Chi-Yu like role. You can Scarf Eruption, I think, can be powerful. Granted, its ability, I mean, well, at least competitively in open team sheet, Frisk is useless, but still. Samurott Hisui, I'm going to try to make this thing work. I love this Pokemon. I mean, there was no reason to use it when Urshifu was there. Urshifu completely invalidated a mon like this. Granted, Dondozo might invalidate it as well, but still, I could actually see a reason for using something like this instead of Dondozo. And that's the main thing about legendaries. It's not even like they're just powerful. They completely invalidate some mons for ever being used in any context. And so in a non-restricted format, there are far more archetypes that are viable. We'll see Psy-Spam come back, as I said. We'll see Sunroom come back. Perish Trap will probably be back. But also like a couple like duos like Dondozo Tatsugiri will be back. Mouseape will be back. We may see a Weezing Slaking out there. What other duos are there? Furgraf and Blood Moon will be back. Those two are not like a duo, but those two are always around together. And then in addition to the duos, you'll probably have like a bunch of one-off Pokemon that don't really fit a particular archetype, but they're just good, right? Like Meowscarada will probably be just flat out good. Put a sash on, put a choice band on it. There's going to be a lot of Pokemon that come back that were lost in the power creep sauce, you know? Something like King Gambit will be awesome in this format, I think, right? Something like Garganacl will probably be back. Something like... trying to think, what was good? Hydreigon is always good in formats like this. You want Pricermons, Murkrow will be back. I'm sure we all remember fighting 30 Murkrows in a row. That will be returning. Although we had some play in a tournament recently, Talonflame will probably get more usage. Which is actually pretty good. With one thing that I like about restricted formats that we saw, that I don't like about restricted formats, excuse me, is what I said before. The power level is just too high. And so, because of that, take like Prankstermons, for instance. Well, not even Prankstermons. Take Tailwind setting mons. Tornadus and Whimsicott were really the only ones you could use in terms of like viability. Like if you again, people use Talonflame, but like you're still kind of fighting an uphill battle. But now, you remove Tornadus, and also you decrease the power level, so you're not dying in one hit. You now have something like Hydreigon, who can set up Tailwind, as we saw. This thing gets Tailwind, right? Or I'm not capping? Yeah, it does. You get something like Salamence, who can set up a Tailwind. It's not Prankster Tailwind, but because the power level is so low, you're not dying in one hit. Unless it's like super effective, obviously. Like double weak to ice, double weak to fairy. But like, you get the point. So having something like this is very good. You're not going to have to run Whimsicott. And honestly, with Dondozo running around, I actually would argue Murkrow's probably going to overtake Whimsicott as the best Prankster Tailwind setter. Just because Haze will be very valuable. Because Dondozo will probably run this format. He's probably going to run this format. And then even something like Talonflame with Gale Wings, like, honestly, in terms of priority Tailwind setters, I think we can easily see a world where Whimsicott is the worst. Because one of the best things about Whimsicott is Encore. But in a situation where Talonflame is faster, and if it's at full health, he'll just Brave Bird you. Which, if you're not running Sash, you'll just die, most likely. And Murkrow's a Dark type, so no. You're not going to do anything Encore-wise after it. So you're kind of just meant to Tailwind and then Moonblast. Like, in a potential Tailwind setting war, I actually think Talonflame and Murkrow will be better than Whimsicott. And that's a great thing in my opinion. Because Pokemon actually now have competition. There's reasons to use them in front of the order. You want more damage, you go Talonflame. You want a Dondozo check, you go Murkrow. If you're really desperate for the support, and also for another something like Sunny Day user, or you really think you'll have Encore because you'll have means of dealing with these other two, you can run something like this. And also, I probably think Whimsicott probably has the best support out of the three of them. Like, there's reason, there's logic to use other Pokemon, which I like. But of course, when talking about the best Pokemon in this format, it's probably going to be Blood Moon. Blood Moon and Dondozo will probably run the game. Dondozo we saw in early format was very good. I actually want to kind of talk about Archelagon. These two Pokemon were kind of meant for... I feel like they were designed... My phone is blinging. I feel like these Pokemon were designed with legendaries in mind. You take those legendaries out, I feel like these Pokemon run the game. Ursaluna a bit more so, because Archelagon kind of needs rain to do its thing, and the only rain setters are what? Pelipper and Politoed. Politoed could be cool, gets a lot of niche moves, gets Icy Wind, gets Perish Song. And then Pelipper, better in restricted formats generally, but as I said before, you're not dying in one hit, so Tailwind's still good, Hurricane's still good. So yeah, I'm just very excited for this format. I think it has a lot of potential. I think more so than anything, it will be fun. Right? And I'm someone who, Reg F was fine, Reg G was eh. But I think this format will easily be like the most fun. The most fun I've had in Scarlet Violet so far was unironically the first format of the game. And granted, some new game sauce, the new game smell kind of affected that. But I had the most fun when the legendaries weren't in the game. Because one thing that I don't think people talk about enough is actually like playing the game. Something like Urshifu, you have to completely change the way you play the game. I'm pretty sure we've all had moments, either it happened to us or we've done it to other people, where you just lead Tornogre, Tailwind Water Spout, you instantly win the game. That doesn't really happen in formats like these. Or they take far more like thought put into them in order for something like that to happen. With Tornogre, it's kind of just brain dead. With Torn or Shifu, it's kind of just brain dead. You just click the buttons and they work. I feel like in this format, there's a little bit... I don't even want to say skill, because there's skill in restricted formats, definitely. But I think you're actually going to have to put some effort in, let me say that, in the team builder design. I think there's going to be a lot of cool text. And as I said, I think you're looking at a situation where you're going to have like 40 Pokemon that are viable. Like, let's just look at the list for a second here. Like, Amoonguss, good. Annihilate, gonna see play. Arboliva, one of my favorite Pokemon. I easily can make this work, right? Arcanines, typical user. Arcaludon will be there. Armarouge will be there. I think, I don't know about Sunavalo. Azumarill will probably see play. Basculegion will probably see play. Baxcalibur will see play. I think you could probably make Blaziken work. Blissey, I think, could easily work. We may see Brambleghast return for a little bit. Breloom, the Hisuian Braviary might be back. be back. I mean, actually get usage, because we never saw that Pokemon, let's be honest. Ceruledge could easily come back. Unaware Clefable is like a semi-Dondozo answer. No Iron Hands in the game. Conkeldurr will probably see play. Dondozo, obviously. Dragapult will probably be back. Dragonite will be good. I think Ice Cube might be able to get some play. Espathra can get play. Extra can get play. I think you could easily make a no retreat for Link's team. That could be cool. Fergraph will be cool. Gallade and Garwal will be cool. Garchomp will be back. Organical will be back. Golden will be very nice. Glimmora will be good. Like, we're already, like... Grimmsnarl will probably have a niche. Screens are not, like, as useful in non-restricted formats. Gyarados will be there. Hatterene will be there. Hariyama, again, no Iron Hands. Hariyama can easily see play. Hitmontop. Houndstone will be good. Hydreigon will be good. Incineroar will still have play. Jumpluff will be around because of Torkoal. Kilowattrel, I think, could easily work as well. King Gambit, obviously. Kingdra on rain teams could be very good. Like, I feel like we've already cracked, like, 20 Pokemon. We're only on the Ks. Like, we're easily cracking a situation where, like, 30 plus Pokemon will be viable. And so, more people will probably get into the game because of that, because they can actually use their favorite Mons, and it will probably end up working, because you're not going to get Tornogred and die. So yeah, I think that's just good. I think formats like this are good, and entering probably the last year of Scarlet and Violet, I think this is a great change. And honestly, we're getting Reg G back starting 2025. I think a format like this has the potential to be so fun. I think you could run this format till April. Legitimately. I've had enough of Reg G, honestly. I think we can just go Reg H, maybe cut it off at like March, have like 6 months of this format, and then we have double restricted to end off Scarlet Violet, then we do ZA, whatever you want to do for Gen 10. I think this format has a potential to be so much fun, because it's essentially how we started Scarlet and Violet plus the DLC, with no legendaries. So, like, I'm very excited. Let me know in the comments what Pokemon y'all want to use, what Pokemon you think will be good. Start sending me your teams. The regulation has already dropped on Showdown, as you can see. VGC challenges are going to go crazy. So, I'm going to end it there. Let me know your thoughts and comments below. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Average Gamer signing off. I'll catch you guys next time.